to be swept away through the mighty mists of time, where dreams, fiction, and reality are magically intertwined, where the wishing tree starts growing when you wish upon a star, and your passions and desires seem to echo in its bark. So, come running, swoop in, apparate, and let your fandom clamors resonate. Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome Marina Sirtis.
Oui.
Hi, Marina.
Hi, I'm good. How are you?
I'm doing pretty well, thank you. I'm impressed with your French. I didn't know you actually spoke French.
I speak a little, well, I used to be fluent. I did used to be fluent, but I haven't spoken French in 50 years, so it's a little bit, j'ai oublié beaucoup de mots.
Well done. You speak any Dutch?
No Dutch, no Dutch. Greek, English, a little bit of French. And when I'm in Italy, I speak French with an Italian accent, and I get by.
Nice. This is your second day at Conférence.
Yes.
How was yesterday for you?
It was good. It was good. We were busy. The people were really nice. I didn't have to yell at anybody. No one pissed me off. It doesn't always happen. So yeah, well, it was great. It was great.
Yeah.
Really nice people.
This is our second Q&A that we're doing. Yesterday we already talked a lot about Star Trek, about your different projects that you've done. But I thought that maybe today we could go back a little bit further in time and go back to where you started as an actor. So do you remember why you wanted to become an actor in the first place?
Yeah, I had a really terrible childhood, horrible childhood. In fact, some friend of mine said to me, "But Marina, there must have been some good times," and I went, "No." So when I used to escape into the TV, literally I would sit like that in front of the television and escape. And so that was, I didn't want to be me. I wanted to be someone else. So acting is the perfect profession. I knew when I was 3 years old that I was going to be an actor. So I'm really lucky because I think a lot of people these days, young people, they go to university and they don't know what they want to do afterwards, right? Which is why they all study psychology, because I think it'll be interesting. Trust me, we've got enough bloody psychologists on this planet. Having played one on TV, I know whereof I speak. So, yeah, I think that I was really lucky that I knew all my life what I wanted to do.
Yeah, but it's also a difficult career, right? Because you don't know whether it's going to work out or not. So
that's true. That's true.
What was it like for you?
Well, it's hard to begin with. There's always a teacher, someone that helps you, right? And in my case, it was my history teacher at school. And she was everyone's favourite teacher, even if they didn't do history for A-level. I mean, there's only about 6 or 8 of us doing history A-level. But she was everyone's favourite teacher. And when I was in what we used to call the lower 6, which is now I think like year 12 or whatever, she said to me, "So you're going to be an actress, Marina, are you?" And I said, "Yes, miss." And she said, "How are you going to do it?" And I said, "I don't know. I'm from Tottenham. In 1973, there were no actors coming out of Tottenham. It was a very working class, very poor neighbourhood. So about a month later, she handed me an envelope, and inside the envelope were the prospecti of every drama school in London and the universities that had good theatre courses and English courses. And she just gave me the envelope and she said, "Apply." And I applied, and I auditioned. The first drama school I auditioned for was the Guildhall School of Music and Drama, which is now, I think, the best drama school in England. It wasn't back then, but it is now, I think. And I got in. So I hadn't told my mother that I was auditioning for drama school, because when I told my mum I wanted to be an actress, what she heard was, "I want to be a prostitute." Right? Because acting is, back in the day, for a Greek parent, is not a respectable profession, right? So, and she also never forgave me because I turned down a place at Bristol University to go to drama school, so bad daughter. Anyway, my career started quite well. After I got a job before I finished drama school. My first job, I played Ophelia in Hamlet, and then within 6 months I got my first TV job, and then it kind of petered out, it kind of went normal, I was out of work for a while, then I would get a job. And then in 1986, I just got it into I had just got this feeling that I had to go to America. Because I mean, you all know, this isn't my real hair colour. This is hair colour out of a bottle, right? My hair is black. And when you have black hair and dark skin, there aren't a lot of roles. Back then, there weren't a lot of roles in England for someone who was as ethnic looking as me. So I would never get the leading role. I always got co-star, right? And I just got fed up with it. So I thought, well, I'm going to go to America, because in America, everyone is from somewhere else, right? Apart from the Native Americans, everyone is from somewhere else. And obviously, it was the right decision. But yeah, it's not an easy career, and when young people come up to me and say, I want to be an actor, my question to them is there anything else that you love as much? Because if there is, do that. Only because unless I worry about young people these days because I think they're very sensitive, ultra sensitive, and you cannot be sensitive and be an actor because it's 99% rejection and 1% acceptance. So unless you can take that, your personality can take 99% rejection and not take it personally, then you can't be an actor. It will make you have some really bad mental health issues. So, like I said, if there's something you want to do that you love as much, do that. If there isn't anything else you want to do, like there was nothing else I wanted to do, God bless, go for it, right? That's my advice to all you budding actors.
And what kept you going while you were actually struggling to find new jobs?
Well, I had other jobs, I was working, I think I'm the only actress who was never a waitress. I worked in retail, I worked in shops that sold clothes, so I'm really good at folding.
Well, it's a specific...
It's a skill, yeah, I'm really good at folding.
Yeah. And when you arrived in the US, did you actually feel that it was better for ethnic actors? Or?
Well, I got a job in 5 days when I arrived in the US.
What did you do?
It was a show called Hunter, and I played an Australian barmaid, and they were like, I went into audition and I did an Australian accent, and they were like, is that a real Australian accent? And I went, well, of course it is. I lived in Australia for 7 years. Don't you know that Melbourne has the highest Greek community outside of Athens? No? Well, yeah, so obviously that's a real Australian accent. Do you know what? The lies I have told to get a job, no one's caught me yet though. So, my first commercial, I walk in, can you flamenco dance? Yes. I thought, if I get the job, I'll learn, right? So I'm actually working in a theatre in London, and my agent called me, and he said, you got the job. I went, oh great, when do I start? He said, be at the studio 5 o'clock tomorrow morning. I'm like, what? He said, 5 o'clock. I'm like, I've got a flamenco dance. Oh shit. So, I'm like this, in the mirror all night. Does this look authentic? And my friends are like, give it up, Marina, you're going to get fired. And anyway, so I go into the studio the next morning, and the first thing they do is they hand me a pair of castanets. And now I am bricking it. I am so scared. I thought, oh Jesus, this is going to be really, really bad. So it was a competition for the gas company. And if you won the prize, you won money. And they had the money there in brand new crisp £10 notes or £5 notes, right? But very brand new, so they were stiff, right? So I had an idea, because at my drama school, we did a lot of classic stuff, so I knew how to use a fan. So I went to the director and I said, do you know what? I just have an idea. So the castanets, they don't really mean anything of the competition, you know. What if I make the money into a fan and I use the money as a fan? He went, that's brilliant. So, I don't lie about doing anything dangerous. Like if they say, can you ride a horse? I say no. Because the closest I've ever been to a horse, coming from London, is the mounted police at the football matches, right? So, yeah, I don't lie about dangerous things, but everything else I'll lie to get the job, absolutely.
Yeah, well, that's allowed, I guess. At some point in your career, did you know that you actually made it? Because you told us that you always wanted to be an actor, but was there a specific moment where you knew, okay, from here on out, it's going to be smooth sailing?
No, as an actor, you never think it's going to be smooth. I mean, maybe Meryl Streep thinks it's smooth sailing, I'm not sure, but for the rest of us, you know, normal actors, I would say, you never know when the next job is really coming from, unless you're Patrick Stewart. I mean, even Patrick now doesn't know when his next job is. I mean, there was a time where Patrick knew what he was going to be doing for the next 5 years. You know what I mean? Job after job. And that's kind of dried up now as well. Did I ever think that I'd made it? I tell you when I knew that I'd made it. Before I went to America, I went to see Sting at the Royal Albert Hall in London. So there's about 6,000 people in the audience. And I remember walking towards the Royal Albert Hall with my girlfriend, and I said, Jan, can you believe it? All these people are going to see Sting. One person's, right, and she went, I know, it's amazing, because she was an actress as well. Anyway, cut to the year that First Contact came out, and I don't remember when that was, we did a convention at the Royal Albert Hall. And I walked out on stage at the Royal Albert Hall in front of 6,000 people who went crazy. And then I knew, I'm like, okay, you've reached a point now, which is good. And then the other thing that I realized that I've kind of made it is that in Vegas, some of the drag queens are Deanna Troy. Right? So, when the drag queens start doing you know you've made it, right?
Definitely, yeah.
And they look better than I do, that's the really annoying thing, right? Because they're 6 foot tall and they're like that, and I'm like, oh Jesus, go away, you make me feel bad. But anyway, but yeah, that's when you know, right?
Yeah. When you first started playing Deanna Troy, science fiction wasn't as big into the mainstream as it is today, right? So what was it like navigating that genre and suddenly being into a big science fiction production like that?
As I said to the press recently, when we, you know, TNG got a Lifetime Achievement Award a couple of weeks ago from the Saturn Awards, which are like they're like the Oscars for the genre, you know, for horror, sci-fi, fantasy. So they're called the Saturn Awards. And I actually said to one of the reporters, because, like I said, I don't care anymore. Paramount don't own me anymore. I'm not under contract to them. I can say whatever the hell I want. TNG changed entertainment. Changed entertainment. When we started on TNG, like you said, sci-fi was alternative entertainment. Our show was so successful in America, we opened the door to all the stuff that you are watching now. So from being alternative entertainment, now sci-fi, comic book heroes, they're mainstream. Well, I won't hear any different. TNG opened the door. So you can thank me later.
Just such an incredible legacy, and I was wondering because Star Trek initially came from Gene Roddenberry.
Yeah, well we did too. Gene Roddenberry cast us as well.
Yeah.
Gene Roddenberry is the reason that I'm on Star Trek, because he was the one who wanted me, and he was the boss. Nobody else wanted me on that show. No one. In fact, the casting director, at the wrap party in the first season, we were in the bathroom and we looked at the mirror, you know, doing our hair or whatever, and she turned to me and she said, you know, I was never going to bring you in to audition. And I said, why did you then, Junie? And she said, to get your bloody agent off the phone. So I found out, you know, in later years, it was Gene who wanted me. So for me, the Roddenberrys, like Rod is like my brother. They adopted me, honestly. The Roddenberrys were my American family, because not only did Gene want me in his show, but obviously his wife played my mum, and I had only been in the country for 6 months when I got Star Trek. So they always made sure that I had somewhere to go at Christmas, you know, Oscar night. If they had a party, I was always invited. Major would always make sure that, you know, I was okay. So yeah, I feel very privileged that I had a very special relationship, different to anybody else's, with the Roddenberrys, and it's a real treasure in my heart. It really is.
Yeah.
It is. I've made myself cry again now, honestly. Jesus, I'm useless. There we go. Right.
Gene was such an amazing person. What was it like actually working with him on a daily basis?
We did work with him on a daily basis. He was up in his office, and the only time we saw Gene is when Major was working, and he'd come to the set to watch his wife. But we never saw Gene day to day. He was upstairs, you know, doing the boss work.
Yeah. And do you remember where you were when you heard that he passed?
Yes. Gene passed on the same day, 10 years after my dad passed, the exact same day. So I was already a little sad because it was the day that my father passed away, and we were on the set. We were just about to shoot my close-up. I had a close-up coming up, and Rick Berman came on the set, and he said, and he, you know, announced that Gene had died, and I thought, well, obviously, as a mark of respect, we'll go home now.
Yeah.
It's Hollywood. Hurry up, Marina, get ready for your close-up. Literally. They had to wait 2 hours, though, because I was crying. And they're like, oh, hurry up, hurry up. And I'm like, you know, this person who means a lot to me has died, and you expect me to carry on working like nothing's happened. Well, that's not the way I work. So just go away and leave me alone. They hated me on Star Trek. They literally hated me because I stood up to them. Because they treat you like children in Hollywood. They treat you like children. And so if you stand up to them, they don't really know how to deal with that. And so I mean, you've met me, you know, you've seen me around. I don't take shit from anyone. And I said, you're going to have to wait. You're just going to have to wait. And they're all freaking out because now they have to stop shooting for 2 hours. I'm like, Jesus Christ, the person who invented Star Trek has just died. Oh, Gene would want us to keep working. Let's just say I'm so much happier living in England than I am in Hollywood. Thank you very much.
Maybe one last question before we start taking some questions from the audience. When Gene died, did you ever think about quitting the show?
No.
Why?
But because the show isn't one man, right? And it would be so disrespectful to him to quit what he'd created, right? Because he died. That was his legacy. I will tell you one thing though, that no one else will tell you. Thank you, Marina. No one else will tell you this. Gene Roddenberry, when they brought Deep Space Nine to Gene Roddenberry, he said, absolutely not. Star Trek is about space exploration. It is not about a hotel in space. But as soon as he died, Deep Space Nine was in the works. Yeah.
Okay, well, maybe it's time to let some audience members ask questions. So if you have a question, please come forward. There are 2 mics on the left and the right side of the stage.
Hey Melinda, how you doing, darling?
Girlfriend, I was in an accident on the
Oh no.
and I was never going to make it.
Well,
so I'm going to make this really short. My name is Dr. Marina. I've been following Marina for what, almost 40 years?
100 years.
Yeah, okay. Mimi says hello, and I got a call from one of Mimi's colleagues the other day, and she asked me to comment on the 3rd season as a professional, as a person who is in human resources, about what I thought of the last year of Picard 3. And I had to take a deep breath, because when I met you last year at FedCon, I said, are you happy? And he's like, yes, I'm happy. And for me, that was everything. But now I've had a chance to talk to my colleagues who write academic papers about the men and women, okay, who unfortunately made your life hell. And what was so egregious about the last year of Picard 3, I'm sorry, I'm going to get on the thing, but I want you to know this, was that you didn't get to drive the ship. We got a 30-second video of LaForge asking you know, don't ruin the ship. And we as fans sat there very depressed that once again, Troy, LaForge, and more were only there for comic approval. And we didn't see any like big advances other than that you were mourning for your child. And nothing like, you didn't even get a promotion. And Jack got to belittle you and say you weren't in there. So what I want to say is, the reason why you have your fans here today is because we as women, we as minorities, have seen you suffer for 40 years, not get what you're entitled to, and now, my generation, I raised my son, you know my son is 23 years old, he sits there and says, Mom, Picard was so depressing, but I like Strange New Worlds. And I'm kind of in love with Berman. And I looked at him and I said, you know the actress old enough to be your mother. And he said, oh yeah, but Marina is too, and I love her. Okay? You will always have fans who support us.
Thanks, Melinda. It is true. It is true. And I did piss off Terry Matalas, who was our boss on Picard. I did piss him off in Vegas. I did. Because, you know, everyone else is like kissing his ass.
I refuse.
Everyone was kissing his ass.
He blocked me. He blocked the black community.
Right.
And he blocked the LGBT community. My kids that I work with every year, try not to keep them from committing suicide.
Right.
Well, I'm going to get off my high horse because I made probably some people really upset. But how they treated you, okay, and how they treated LeVar, what he had to do, how they treated Ward. It was just, you can't even have Hellenic, you can't even get an award from your Hellenic people. LeVar can't get an award from the NAACP because they weren't on screen for more than 10 or 15 minutes.
It is, you know, listen, it's something that you kind of get used to over there. First of all, women, we were paid probably 30% less back then. It's probably changed now, but we were probably paid 20% less than the boys. They still, I mean, they're still doing it, and their argument is that the boys put bums on seats and girls don't, which is bollocks, actually. And yes, I did say to Terry Matalas, because everyone else on stage in Las Vegas last year was kissing his ass, and I said, look, you know, my husband was off saving the universe, and I was at home raising the kid. Thank you so much.
Do you know how many army wives were upset because you were the doormat of Riker?
I know.
And you're sitting in a room talking about everything except for your child?
Okay, Melinda, I'm going to stop you because there's a lot of people. So
I'm just really angry, and the fans are angry.
Okay.
I understand. Thank you so much for your question.
I'm sorry.
Because there's loads of people.
We have to go to the next person.
I don't apologise, but you know me, I will stop you when it's
Okay,
time.
but
Okay, all right.
I want to say we support you and we still love you.
Thank you. Let's go to the next person over there.
Thank you.
Well, first of all, I want to thank you for all the countless hours of entertainment, and I thought you were wonderful on The Next Generation and on Picard.
Thank you.
My original question was, what was your reaction when the crew wasn't returning for season 1 for Picard?
That was. If you read Patrick's book, he apparently he didn't want us.
Yeah. And what was your reaction?
What was my reaction?
Did you care about that?
Well, we didn't know that. We didn't know at the time that he didn't want us. I found out when I did Picard season 3. I found that out. Yeah. Not happy. No. So but it is what it is.
Thank you.
You're welcome. Yes, love.
Hi.
Hi.
I have a bit of a lighter question. 50 years ago, ABBA won the Sun Festival, and I know you are an ABBA fan, right?
ABBA, yes.
So, what's your favorite song?
My favourite ABBA song is Chiquitita.
Good choice.
And although Mamma Mia #2 wasn't as good as Mamma Mia, the first Mamma Mia, it was worth the price of admission just to hear Cher sing Fernando. Brilliant. I've been to, do you know about Voyage, the ABBA show in London? I've seen it 4 times. If I could get a season ticket, I would, and go every week. I went the first week. It was the best night of my life, honestly. The best night of my life. ABBA is happy. If you say to me ABBA, word association, happy, right? ABBA makes me happy. And so, and it's this weekend is the 50th anniversary of Waterloo, April the 6th. Yeah, exactly. Thank you so much. Thank you for bringing up ABBA. Yeah, now you've made me happy. Yes, love.
You've told you were a fan of Gene, but do you know why he cast you in Star Trek?
Because I'm a good actress.
Yeah, but he never told you.
He said that okay, I'm going to say it, sod it. He thought I was the best actress of the three women, yeah. Don't tell Gates and Denise, okay. All right. Hello.
Hello, thank you for all these 50 years of the show.
Thank you.
And I have a weird question. Did you keep something from
Did I steal anything?
Yeah.
Oh yes. Oh yes, I stole a lot of stuff. I even stole my chair. You know the director's chair was it? Because it's a high chair like this. It's this high. So I thought, do you know what? If I'm doing a red carpet and the makeup artist comes to my house to do my hair and makeup, this is perfect. Perfect height. And one of the producers saw me and she said, what are you doing? I said, I'm taking my chair. She said, Marina, just take the back that has your name and the name of the show. That's what people take. They take the name. They don't take the chair. I said, I'm taking the chair. She said, Marina, I'm taking the freaking chair. Oh, I'm taking the freaking chair. So I thought, well, that was easy. So I went back into observation and I thought, those chairs are really comfortable. Where are you going with that chair? I thought it'd be a really great chair to watch TV. Marina, put the chair back, all right. So then I went and stole some costumes. And I said to Brent, and Brent said, how did you get costumes? And I said, well, I took them. And Brent said, well, I asked. And they said no. And I said, well, that's where you went wrong. You asked. I didn't ask. I just took. What they're going to do, come and, knock on my door at my house? Actually, tell a lie. In Picard, the jackets that we wore, I took that home with me, and that I got a letter saying send it back. So I had to send it back. But I kept everything else, yeah. When I'm broke, then we're going in a sale. Yes, love.
I think we have 5 more minutes. So
okay. Yes, ma'am. You look amazing. What are you?
A character
from a video game. From a video game. Which video game?
Hawkeye Impact 3rd.
From what?
Hawkeye Impact 3rd. It's Genshin?
No, I don't know anything but Tetris. That's the only video game I've ever played.
Well, no many people know this anyways.
Okay. Old people don't play video games, let me tell you.
My dad does.
Your dad does? How old is your dad?
Almost 60.
Almost 60. Well, I'm older than your dad, so I'll just say alright. Okay. Old women don't play video games. Right? Do you know what? If old women are playing video games, they've got too much bloody time on their hands. That's all I can say. I have no interest in playing video games at all. It just seems to me there's too much killing. There's a lot of killing, and what worries me a little bit is that if you're killing something on the screen all the time, do you get immune to the violence?
No, if I have a choice, I will not kill.
You will not kill, okay. But you're a girl.
Sort of, yeah.
I don't think that applies to boys as much, really. Anyway, I mean, is there a question in there? Sorry, I've got way late. Yeah.
My original question was if there was a difference between the set of Picard and the TNG, but you kind of answered that one, so
it was different. It was different. It was different. When it's 30 years later, people have changed. We haven't. TNG, and Jonathan describes it as lightning in a bottle, and it really was. It was very specific. It was of that time. We were all, starting off together, kind of thing in TNG. I was very excited to go to LA to shoot Picard because I thought it would be the same as when we shot TNG, and it wasn't. And I have to be honest, one of the reasons it wasn't as much fun was because when we did TNG, smartphones hadn't been invented. And I actually went, do you know what? I've come all the way from England to hang out with you, and you can't come out from behind your bloody phones. Right? I'm like, what are you, 12? Jesus! Oh, Marina. I mean, all like, Marina's out of control. Like, Marina's out of control, she's lost the plot, and I'm like, you're rubbish. Literally, like this, all day, when they weren't working. So, and that's another reason why it wasn't as much fun. Yeah. I hate technology. Do you know what a Luddite is? No, because you're not English. Okay, Luddites, in the Industrial Revolution in the 19th century in England, Luddites were this group of people who were afraid that machinery was going to take away their jobs, which of course it did. And so they would go around the factories and they would break the machinery. I would love to break technology, I really would. I think there's so many good things about it, a lot of good things, but the bad things are more than the good things. They outweigh the good things. As someone who's in the public eye, the lack of privacy, that's another reason I don't want social media, right? The lack of privacy. I think privacy is a human right. If you want it, you should be able to have it. And with social media, it's almost impossible now to be a private person. So and that's a real big reason why I don't approve of it. Because you can find anybody, if you know how to look. Yeah.
Okay,
Next question.
Final 2 questions over there.
Yes, Marina Sirtis. Can it be?
Me la sei l'unica. Monoligo, okay.
My question was, what was the most memorable moment in TNG for you?
Oh Jesus, the most memorable moment. Do you mean acting or in a scene, or what do you mean?
Whatever, if it was a scene or if it was offset.
Trying to think. Well, actually, a funny thing was when we were shooting Insurrection. Jesus, that was a boring movie. You don't have to be kind. I was like this at the premiere. Wake me up when it's finished. We were shooting in a mountain, right, on the top of the mountain. And the only way to go to the top of the mountain was in the helicopter, right? So I'm scared of heights. I don't like heights, right? So I'm thinking, okay, there's 3 people in the back and there's 1 person sitting next to the pilot. I said, well, I'll go in the back and sit in the middle of the other 2 people and then I'll be safe, right? Because they were like army helicopters. They didn't have doors. There were no doors, right? There was just space. But in a helicopter, they put you according to your weight, how much you weigh. So, no, you're sitting next to me by the open door. Right then, eyes shut the whole way through, like this, right? Anyway, when we get to the top of the mountain, there aren't any toilets up there. If you want to go to the toilet, you have to get in the helicopter and go back down to base camp, to the mountain, right, to the toilet. Well, that's not going to happen. I'm only going to go in that helicopter twice, once up and once down, right? So I would get an umbrella and go to the bushes. I thought they can't see me because, I've got this umbrella hiding. Right. And I didn't realise there were people behind me. But I didn't realise this. Donna Murphy, who was the leading actress in that film, she wanted to go to the toilet, and she said, oh, I really don't want to go in the helicopter. And I said, come on, I'll hold the umbrella for you. But she's one of those people who can't pee if someone's listening, so she couldn't pee. But that was really funny, trying to get Donna Murphy to pee behind a bush. And the other thing that happened on that film that was really funny, as again, we were on the top of the mountain and they were doing one of those aerial shots, when we were coming, I called it the Magnificent Seven coming over the mountain, right, over the top of the mountain. They were doing it from the top. And we finished shooting it, and then Jonathan was directing Nemesis, and he goes, and he's on the walkie-talkie, and he goes, guys, we have to do it again. And I'm like, why do we have to do it again? Patrick Standing was asleep on a rock at the top of the mountain, and he was in every shot like this. And no one noticed, right? So a lot of things happen on films that you don't see that are very amusing. A lot of things happen that aren't very amusing, but TNG, because we laughed a lot. We did laugh a lot. We had a lot of directors. Actually, there's another thing we found out recently. I always used to say to the fans that we had so much fun, we did, and that in the first season we had a director who refused to work with us because we were too rowdy, we were too unruly. This was Star Trek history. There was a director in the first season who refused to work with TNG because they were so naughty. It wasn't the director. It was Patrick. Patrick, who had come straight from the Royal Shakespeare Company, was not used to working with people like us, who had fun, right? And I'll be honest now, he was like that at the beginning, but after a few months with us, he changed. And he was as silly as the rest of us for a very long time. So, but he was a very serious actor when we started. So, but we got rid of that quite quickly. Yes, love, thank you. Yes, love, this will be the last question, right? Yeah.
So I was wondering if, when you do cons like this, if you ever get a chance to talk to the younger actors and actresses and tell them about, your experience.
I talk to everybody. I'm that person who talks to. I'm the person. If I'm in a lift or an elevator and I'm interested, I'm going to join in your conversation. If you're walking down the street and I hear something, I will comment, right? I go up and I introduce myself to everybody, I do. Because I'm like, well, you know, we're all here, we're all in the same business, you know. I don't understand this, you know, like, standoffishness. I'm interested in people, you know. Plus, if you're an actor, shouldn't you meet all kinds of people because you're going to play all kinds of people and be, you know. But I'm that person who always says something. I remember I was in a lift with Lavar in Vegas, I think it was, and this Russian dude got on the lift, and he had like really, really, really curly blonde hair, right? Now, you all know my hair naturally is black and curly, right? So, but his little girl had beautiful blonde, straight hair, right? Gorgeous, like supermodel hair, right? And I went, oh, thank God she hasn't got your hair. This man's like, what? And I'm like, well, yeah, because if she had your hair, she'd spend all her life straightening it, because I've got hair like yours, and I spend hours straightening my hair. Anyway, they got off the lift. Lavar goes, you are horrible. I said, yeah, but I'm funny. And he goes, and that's the only reason you're still alive. And on that note,
thank you.
Thank you for your question, and thank you everybody for being here, and especially thank you Marina for coming out all the way from the UK.
it's not all the way, I'm an hour away. You should be thanking the people coming from LA. They're not much further. Anyway, lovely to meet you guys. And just before I go, because I didn't say it yesterday, some people in my business forget why our lives, when you become a success in Hollywood, your life is blessed. It is blessed, right? And the reason my life is blessed is because of you. Because you turned on your TVs for 7 years, you went to see 3.5 movies, and honestly, everything I have, I owe to the fans. So thank you for everything in my life. Thank you.